In this video we're going to talk about Jett Lawrence's special modified boot gripping panels that he's made Honda put on his bike, and this is something that other riders, even at the pro level, usually don't use. So the question is this something that we're gonna see on stock bikes in the future and also among other pro riders in the future? And in this video we're also going to go through the evolution of foot position on the bike and footwork in general, because there's actually a lot happening right now and the technique is changing, like the riding technique of how to put your feet and how to use your feet on the motocross bike is changing as we speak right now with these latest developments. And I even have a modification you can make on your foot pegs really cheap. So as you know, Jett Lawrence, he just had a perfect season in the American motocross series where he won 22 out of 22 races. And to do that, you need a lot of things to be in place. But two of the most important, as you'll know, is your riding technique has to be exceptional, and also your bike setup has to be exceptionally good. So with these little details we're going to talk about in this video, maybe they will just make you 1% or 2% better. But if you make the bike setup 1 or 2% better in several different places, then you're going to end up being maybe 1 or 2 seconds faster than the next best rider in the class. And if you're a student of riding technique, you already know that a motocross bike is supposed to be primarily handled through the foot pegs, and you're supposed to ride the bike with a more loose upper body connection to the bike instead of doing the opposite, which most beginners ironically do. This video is part of my 4D body position program, and this is level 4.1 that we're going to go through here. So as you can see on these pictures with Jett Lawrence's boot gripping panels, so what Jett does is he's actually squeezing the bike with this area of the boot, okay? And now it's gonna get really interesting. So what that actually means with these boot gripping panels, if you think about this carefully, this means there's actually a big change happening in footwork in motocross, like how we use our feet to ride the motorcycle. Because what we've seen previously is, if you study AJ Catanzaro and how he teaches foot position, then he teaches people to ride with the toes inwards. So if this is the feet, okay, then this is the toes. So by riding with the feet inwards, the theory is that that will make your knees also point inwards and apply a squeeze to the bike, okay? However, what's happening with Jett Lawrence's technique is almost the opposite of this. If you think about it carefully, in order to squeeze these new boot panels with the back of the boot, in order to do that, you will have to put your feet on the foot pegs with the ball of the foot on the foot peg close to the frame, okay? But then you will have to squeeze the back of the foot inwards towards the frame like this, which will actually slightly move the feet a little bit outwards, okay? In order to apply pressure. So I'm going to show you the boot here. So in order to apply pressure on the boot here, on these panels, you will have to squeeze like this, right? Which turns the feet outwards, okay? However, this doesn't mean that the feet will actually be pointing outwards because they hit the panels here, okay? It's just the application of force on the bike that's gonna be different, okay? This is pretty interesting. And it's not a new thing to have big changes in riding technique in motocross. You know, we've already seen the evolution of foot peg precision from James Stewart that was riding with the arch of the foot on the foot pegs a lot of the times. And then in the recent times, all the top pros, like from Ryan Dungey and Ken Rocks and of course and Jett Lawrence, they have been riding on the ball of the foot. And then sometimes you will see people in the whoop sections in Supercross moving further out towards the toe. And then it's really funny if you follow some of the top coaches like Rhino. He's been talking about moving out to the furthest out foot position on the toes, but now he's starting to move it back again towards the ball of the foot. Maybe also after Eli Tomac, he tore his Achilles tendon by over jumping a jump, and that's even being on the ball of his foot. You know, the disadvantage, and it's a big one by the way, of being on your absolute toes, tippy toes on the boots, is if you over jump something or if the track gets really rough, your foot can slip off the foot peg, or if you over jump something and have a really hard impact, you have so much leverage on your ankle that you could end up snapping your Achilles tendon or getting an ankle injury by all that leverage when you have impact. Okay, so that's why the modern foot position is moving back again towards the ball of the foot. Actually, in my 4D body position program, I teach it as a skill to move your foot peg, foot position to the arch of the foot every time you overjump a jump to protect your ankles. So now let's have a look at my bike and my foot pegs. Okay, so let's start with the old foot position from James Stewart's time. Arch of the foot here. In that case, the boot here would be squeezing on this part of the frame, and in that case it would make sense to put gripper tape on here for gripping the bike. Now with the modern foot position standing here, there's just air, there's nothing to grip the bike here with this part of the boot here. It's just basically touching the air right here. Okay, so that's why Jett Lawrence, he puts these panels on here. Now let's talk about how I modified my foot pegs, which I think is something you could also try, or maybe some of the manufacturers will try to do in the future. So if you look carefully on my foot peg angle here, this is the right angle. They're actually pointing slightly upwards. And that is going to create a natural squeeze of your knees in towards the seat. So I'm testing different angles, and maybe I'll make it a bit lower later. So how I've done this is just by welding on some more material underneath the foot peg. In here, if you look in here, I just welded some more material under here, okay? Okay, so I believe in the future there's gonna be 3 things that you're going to see on dirt bikes when they come out of the factory that you have not seen until now. And those 3 things are boot gripping panels. And secondly, I think you're gonna see foot pegs with ankle savers come from the factory like that to, well, it's gonna sell more bikes. Whoever chooses to sell bikes with ankle savers foot pegs on, they're gonna sell more bikes probably for that specific reason, especially after Eli Tomac, he got that serious injury from overjumping a jump without ankle savers, foot pegs on. And the last thing, and the third thing that I think you might see, is foot pegs that are adjusted with ankles that are pointing your knees inwards, or even foot pegs that are adjustable in angles like that, up and down. Just like you have Kawasaki producing foot pegs that have 2 different positions, like for up and down, just moving the foot pegs to a low or high position. Then you might also see foot pegs that are adjustable, like in terms of the angle they have like that. If you think this is interesting, you definitely want to check out my 40 MX body position program that I'll just give you a short intro right now. And in any case, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one. The 4D body position program has 4 levels that are very logically structured. And let me explain that. So level 1 are the generally correct standing position and sitting position, okay? So that's just understanding like the attack position, okay? Level 2 is all the variations of the standing position and the sitting position. All the different foot positions that are being used, and basically standing position, leaning forward, leaning back. When do you do that? When do you sit? When do you stand? Understanding all these variations is level 2, okay? Level 3 is all the stuff you cannot see on videos, okay? And that is pressure points where there's looseness and tightness in the body when you're riding, and also small cues for correct posture when you're sitting and standing on the bike. And now level 4 is all the variations of pressure points and looseness and tightness. Sometimes you tighten up in some muscles for certain purposes when you're riding, and other times you're loosening up, for example, in the grip of the legs to the bike for certain purposes, and that's all level 4. So that's the variations, okay? And in the big picture, you can say that level 1 and 2 is all the stuff you can see on video, and level 3 and 4 is all the invisible stuff that you cannot see unless you look very careful, okay? Like for example, it's really hard to see if a rider is tightening his core muscles when he's riding, right? That's a good example, I would say. So if you think all this sounds exciting, make sure you subscribe to the channel to see it. And these body position masterclasses that I call them in the 4D body position program, they will be available in a short version for free, and then in the full version for channel members that have clicked that little join button below, where you're supporting the development of this channel and get access to more exclusive content that I put more work into. Okay, and in case you're new to my channel, let me quickly introduce myself. So I'm the head coach of motocrossphuket.com, which is a 2-time TripAdvisor award-winning holiday training camp in Thailand. And I've coached over 1,000 clients, and that gives me a real hands-on experience in coaching. And also it has given me practice in explaining things in the simplest way possible, and also using a step-by-step approach, which is very characteristic of this whole 4D program. This is really step-by-step. You start with level 1 and then you build on top of that with level 2 and then level 3 and then level 4 to start to ride more like a pro, but step by step, not trying to do everything at once. Also, I'm a former student of nanoscience, which gives me a good scientific background to explain the mechanics and physics of riding technique. That's also quite unique, I think, for a motocross YouTuber, to have this package of expertise like in one package. And then I like to ride two-strokes. This is my Honda CR, race-winning, race-tech suspension, 250 two-stroke from 2001. It's like a passion bike build project I've done as well. To watch the full version of my advanced riding videos and support the development of this channel, click the join button below and become a member. And thereby you will get access to exclusive videos where I go through the most advanced skill levels and also explaining things from a physics standpoint, because I have a background in science and thereby studying physics, so I'm able to explain actual riding technique and the mechanics of riding, also bike setup, in a way that you don't see on many other channels. Also, I share my own step-by-step methods on how I track my own progress and riding technique development. So if you're interested in that, consider becoming a member and clicking the join button. And if you like tropical island holidays, visit fitcamp5.com for my 2-time TripAdvisor award-winning training camp, where we train fitness and action sports together while learning to live a healthy lifestyle and, maybe most importantly, have fun at the same time. And if you're really serious about improving yourself, you should definitely check out my full online courses, where I share step-by-step programs on how I developed my own routines over the last 12 years as a CEO, working in 4 different countries, while being a successful competitive athlete with more than 20 years of experience in fitness and nutrition. Check the link in the description for that. And in any case, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, be awesome, believe in yourself, and see you on the next one.